Alright, let's just make sure that we are recording. Alright, we're recording.
You better get your sports straight. You better get your sports straight. Look it up. Google it, fool. Google it.
Welcome back to a new video. We are out here today.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yo. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Today, what are we doing? We're out here. It's probably Monday somewhere, so you already know what that means. We're hitting you off with some madness on the Monday because we're out here talking about screen printing, and that's what I do. Showed you lots of other ways of doing the screens and doing all these things. There's one thing that I did before that I didn't show. When I first started setting this stuff up, when I first got my old press back from my cousin, I decided, oh, let's start using emulsion and start doing the screens instead of paying for the screens to be made, because that's what I was doing for a very long time. Because there was a guy that around here, it was downtown on the, well, not kind of downtown, it was on the tie flats. All he did was make screens. He cleaned them, he burned them, he made the screens, he put new mesh on your screens if you needed new mesh. He did all this stuff for you, and it was a very low cost way of doing things. At the time, in my other, well, it wasn't my garage, it was my grandpa's garage, I didn't have the room or the area for the light box that we have back here. Old 2-color press, now we got the new 4-color banger with the 4-color shirt board. It works out because that other press, there was some missing parts from, you know, from functioning, taking it from one place to the other, and I just lost parts, and so it was like half working, half not working. The registration wasn't really that good on it anymore. I couldn't really line things up the correct way. I had to hold it down with clamps. I had to do a bunch of rigging and jigging and doing all this stuff to make it work right, and it was working right, but I had to do all this jigging. I was like, oh, is that guy still down there to make the screens? Because it was like 25 bucks a screen to be made. It wasn't that much if I brought him my own transparencies and all that stuff. He also had the you could burn, if you brought an image on like a file or whatever that was, he could do it on a thumb drive. I said file, but bring the file on a thumb drive and he would do it for you. But if you printed it out at your house or in your shop or wherever you needed to do, and you brought the transparencies with your screen, he'd burn it for like 20-30 bucks. And I was like, whew. And at the time I was screen printing a whole bunch for a whole bunch of other people, so I would add that cost, the 25 to 30 bucks cost, into the t-shirts and into the process of doing all the thing. What did I do? I would try to go down there and he wasn't there anymore. I was like, man, what do we do? So I showed you all the ways of doing screens when you don't have the things, and then I was using the wrong type of emulsion when I first going in here again. When I first built this, well, it's the second time. Well, this is the actual second. I don't even know how many times I screen printed in here a lot. So this is the second time having a full production screen printing press with everything in here. I have more equipment that I did before, so this is, I gotta clean it up in here today too, but this is basically full-blown garage shop. You know, you can screen print anywhere you want. You know, people screen print, they have extra room in their house, and that's all they do is screen print. You don't have to have a full-blown warehouse to screen print. It's really not that hard once you get the stuff dialed in and the t-shirts dialed in and everything that you need to do get dialed in. It's really not that difficult to do. But my thing is, what I was thinking of, what I should do is use this light box again. And when I was saying I was using the wrong type of emulsion, so I was looking, I was like, man, I'm trying to get this graphic made and all these other graphics made, because I did this one with the heat transfer vinyl. It turned out okay, but there's some ghosting in spots and areas that I don't like, that you can look very detailed and look at it, but from the naked eye, random people, you probably wouldn't even see it, but I know it's there, so it kind of bothers me. Before I got those transfer papers, I never made a video on them because they never really worked. Before, I thought the transfer papers, the HTV, you can also do it. I should make another video about it. You can also screen print with the vinyl, just regular vinyl, that you cut it out as a stencil reversed, and you do it and you put it on your screen like a sticker. It works pretty good. But what I'm thinking of long term, and what I'm thinking long term with all the designs that I do for www.forevercrusaders.com, and new ones that I want to get done won't really work. They're so fine detailed and stuff. They wouldn't really work for the HTV. They would have worked for the stuff that I needed to use a laser printer for, but it wasn't really working right. So it'll work. Those fine detailed designs would have worked for that, because the heat paper or the transfer paper that you use with a laser printer was like printing on emulsion, but not really. But it was weird. It didn't really work. Screw those people. Not really screw them, but don't ever use that company. Don't use them. So what I'm thinking is get all this open up again, because we made this custom cabinet. I had this cabinet laying around, and I light this whole bunch of lights in here, and my mom helped me. We did all this stuff. I'm using this. I can just bring this over, plug all these lights in, because this works out actually really good the way that you need to do it. So plug all these lights in. Make sure all these lights are turned on. So when we do plug in the strip, see, that's out of the way. We're doing a little, and I make screens right here, and then we just plug it up. Screen printing out here the other day, and did the heat press. So I don't have room for a belt dryer. So that's one thing I don't have room for, and I don't really want to spend the money on the belt dryer, because they're super expensive. And if you really want to get into it, you could just cure the stuff with a flash dryer. But I cure the stuff with a flash dryer when I'm screen printing, but after I'm done, I do the final cure with my heat press. So I was doing the final cure, not the final cure, but the final flash on actually it was this t-shirt that I was doing. I did 2 of them, and the one that it didn't really turn out, because it just didn't really, the way that I liked the way they looked, they didn't turn out. The last one, this one turned out good, but the other one that I did didn't really turn out the way that I wanted. So I did the last cure of the flash, and I said, oh, I better turn on my heat press. So I turned my heat press on and blew up the garage. Not really blew the garage up, but I blew the fuse. Didn't really know there was a box in the garage, and it was a whole debacle. So I have these, I'm thinking about, I just looked at it and I thought about maybe I should get a third one of this. So I have these 3 LED lights with these strips, and if I got another third one of these and put them, it will work out. And the reason why it wasn't working out, new light box thing, this creation that I made, the reason why it wasn't working, because I wasn't using, it dawned on me today, because I was doing some designs, old designs, remaking them, because after a while, even though that I have it burned on the screen, sometimes you need to reburn that screen and clean it up and just put the same design on it, but just make it refreshed, if that makes sense. So what I did, oh, that kind of gets hot in here, just is. So what I did was I wasn't using, it's called a dual cure emulsion. So I wasn't using that. I was using this stuff that's already mixed up, and it's good emulsion, but it was made for a high volume shop. And this is not a legit, well, it is a legitimate light box. You could trace stuff on it, but it's not like a legitimate exposure unit. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a DIY exposure unit. You know, you don't really need to put that much money into an exposure unit. You could do this. I maybe need to add a third light, but after I add that, these lights aren't that expensive. So you add a third light, you just do it. The dual cure emulsion is made for longer exposure times. Emulsion that I was using when I wasn't, what I thought was dual cure, but it wasn't dual cure. It was for quick, you get those high quality exposure units. So here's another thing that I'm gonna start doing. I don't mind screen printing on shirts and stuff like this. I know how to do it, but I really get flustered sometimes with the measurements. I'm okay with the measurements, setting up all the shirts and doing all that stuff and screen printing and doing all this stuff, and I don't like when it has the tack. When you put, after you're done making the shirt, even though that you did all this stuff to it, it shouldn't feel that tackiness. And maybe it's just the easy tack that I use, because it's not really for screen printing. I still use it anyway because it works. It's called easy tack, and it's just a light tack for photo paper when you're doing stuff. I get it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or there used to be Arco back in the day, but it's not there no more. First started getting the screen printing was making my own designs on t-shirts and doing all that stuff. But then a long time ago, the Seahawks thing, a lot of Seahawks fans a lot of baseball fans out here, but it was mostly Seahawks stuff. So what I was doing a lot of Seahawks sweatshirts, hoodies, and t-shirts and long sleeves. And I was screen printing a whole bunch. And you know, then it dawned on me, I watched this thing. They're called plastisol heat transfers. And this is the paper right here. So this is what I'm gonna start doing again. And it's easier for me to do this. I like doing this better because I mastered this. I didn't master the screen printing on a t-shirt, but I kind of got this down to a science the way I know how to do it. So I got these made from a company, and I got these made, this is say 2019, and now it's 2024. So I got these made a while back, and they still work good to this day. But right here, bam, you do it. This is for the back, but if you really wanted to, you could hit the front and the back off on a t-shirt at one time. Same with, you can do 2 color on there, you can do as many colors as you want on that paper, and it's just easier for me to do it because I kind of dialed in the times, the temperature, and however I do it. That's how I do it. And when I was doing Seattle Seahawks t-shirts all the time, I was like, you know what, I'm not trying to screen print every single one time every single time. I did a lot of tie, well, I got to get back into it. I haven't done it in a while, but I was doing tie-dye, the Seahawks colors, tie-dyed Seahawks color, and then I would screen print on it. And I was like, you know what, this screen printing 1 shirt, 2 shirt, 3 shirt, I don't like sitting on products, so it was made to order. So what I thought about and I started doing was screen printing on this paper. And you can screen print as many designs as you can fit on this paper. Boom. So I'd screen print a whole bunch. So at the time, I could only do two at a time, 1 at a time, I don't remember, but now I can do 4 at a time. So boom, line it up. You got grids on your deal. If you didn't draw grids on your deal, just do it, and I would do it. You could even do it up here, over here, but it's just so easy to do. And they tell you don't have to. You know, you watch those videos. I actually, from the Rhinet people, I got them from Rhinet. And I was like, you don't really have, they're saying get a suction thing for your shirt board. You don't really have to do that. The sprayer, easy tack down. Make sure you clean your boards off before you do it, because I've done it, forgetting to clean the boards off, and I've screen printed on the transfer paper like this, bam, and I felt it. I felt like a dust bunny or whatever was in there. I could feel it on the paper. I felt it screen printing on the paper, and when you pop that paper, you'll see a little bubble on it. But that's because I forgot to clean the thing. But the way you do it, bam, and it works out better because there's so many one designs like this. I did another Forever Crusaders one down here. That's just a big bubble letter Crusaders, and with this paper, you can make 4 or 5 different designs on this paper, and then there you go. You have 4 or 5 different designs on this paper, and then you have 4 or 5 different t-shirts. You do 4 papers, you got 4 t-shirts done. Does that make sense? You make 20 designs, you keep those 20 designs, and then you can buy these, but I like making them because that's just the way I am. I even buy them sometimes too if I get lazy. But from now on, you could heat your flash dryer in one spot, wham bam, thank you, and then screen print, and then just have a conveyor belt of things. So that's what I'm trying to get into, is the old ways of how I used to do it. Man, these people keep calling me. Hello?
Hello, good day. My name is Chris. May I speak with Brandon Hurley?
Yeah, this is him.
By the way, Brandon, we're calling you right now is to double check if you are receiving the Healthy Food card and the Flex card or not yet.
This is like the 3rd time you called, and I'm just letting you know that I'm shooting a YouTube video right now, and I got a really good following. It was easier for me just by myself to do the transfers because that's just the way it is. That's a little ideas that are running through my head, and I like to shoot videos. So we're always out here Monday and Friday and every day in between. So if you're not subscribed, I double dog dare you And all these random sayings are about to be on t-shirts, like wabam, I double dog dare you, don't hate the player, hate the game. So again, yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. We're out here doing our own thing. Whoa.